thumbs up. And if you give me the thumbs up back, I'll know that, hey, I'm being seen and the show has begun. Wow. What a rush every time. 99 of these. This is episode 99 of Asheville 8 Note. Asheville 8 parentheses PM into parentheses note. I am the host, Sam Irvin, and I've been doing this for over 99 weeks. This year, 2024, has only been every other week. But before that, this was a weekly live stream on which I have various guests, and those guests are Asheville musicians who come on to chat for an hour and then jam for an hour. Part of the show is me double checking to see like if the audio is working. So I'm gonna do that. You know what? It is working. So thank goodness. You know, traditions, they're around for a reason. This is the episode before the 100th episode, and I have a very special guest, Juan Holladay, coming on, but he's not coming on yet because I have more of a spiel. There's I also wanted to shout out well, first of all, I just wanted to say that Juan and I are gonna jam after we chat, and I'm really excited to smash some drums while he does his thing, playing some guitar and singing. That's gonna be really cool. And first, we'll chat, and I've warned him that I might gripe about the grind. That's where I'm at today. I woke up at 3:30 this morning. Did I tell you that? No. Yeah. Anyways, we'll get to it. You, the viewer, can get to Irvin Music Studio's YouTube page and check out all of the past episodes of this show. Last week, it was Sugar Bomb, a jazz trio. They were really great. Put together a mix for them. I think, I spent a while on that mix, but I squished them a little bit too much. I think Joe Enright's the drummer. I think I made him a little quiet. Sorry, Joe. But I think this episode will be all live, no mixing. I'm pretty excited about that. But I do this show for three main reasons, and one of those is to practice mixing and turning all these knobs in my AV work. I've gotten a lot of practice in on that. Reason number two is to build community, and I've known Juan for a while, but it's nice to have an excuse to hang out. And reason number one is to carve out time in my life to like reclaim music as a fun thing. I'm a professional musician teaching lessons and playing gigs and doing some recording projects. This morning I recorded a recorder duet. That was an odd way to spend my morning, but I really enjoyed doing that with Andy John and his friend Tom, I believe was his name. And and I think that tonight is going to be a lot of fun. Me just improvising some, smashing the drum set. That is going to bring me to a happy place around music. I think that's pretty much it. There's a Patreon for Irvin Music Studio, but I don't keep up with it. So really the thing to check out is the YouTube channel. This Saturday will be a big party with past guests coming on to jam for 100th episode celebration. So I'm really looking forward to that. That should also really be fun. What else is coming up? I don't think I have any big big shows or anything. So maybe Juan does. Here, why don't
Big show coming up on June 2nd. It's a long ways away, but
June 2nd, come on and tell us about it.
okay.
June 2nd. Now's the time to hit that.
I'm playing at.
Well, wait, no, come on.
I don't put the intro.
Yeah, put the intro music on. Okay, and then let's see. I don't know. Let's find out. Did you click the little circular arrow button?
Yeah, put the intro music on.
Okay, and then let's see. I don't know. Let's find out. Did you click the little circular arrow button? Guest intro music, and then you'll click the. This is part of it. This is part of the show's mystique. Guest intro music. The vibe. I'm so interested in whether it's gonna happen. Oh yeah, but then above it, click the little circular arrow thing. Yeah, that thing. Yeah, now it's playing, but it's just silent. We can't hear it, but it will be playing. Yeah, that thing. Yeah, now it's playing, but it's just silent. We can't hear it, but it will be playing. Oh, it's not playing. You know what? Let's really dig into this moment and see how long. Oh, it's not playing. You know what? Let's really dig into this moment and see how long. Oh, it's not playing. No. No, it's still not playing the guest intro music. I'm so curious as to why. Here, I'm coming. I'm checking it out. We gotta have the proper guest intro. No, it's still not playing the guest intro music. I'm so curious as to why. Here, I'm coming. Oh, because it's muted. Why? Are you clicking? Okay, wait. Did you click it again? Yeah, here we go. Here, stop it. Wait. Okay, so coming on now, Juan Holladay. Yes. That's the vibe for sure.
Sweet.
It worked. I had muted it. It's my fault.
Okay.
Welcome on the show. This is great. This is the vibe of the show.
Good. I like it.
What do you
So
think?
99.
Yeah.
This is the 99th.
This is the 99th episode.
Wow, that's quite an achievement. So I feel like I should be interviewing you.
Okay, go for it. You know,
So
I'm tired.
Yeah. So what was the moment like? Can you draw a picture or like paint a picture for like what was the moment you were like, I'm gonna do 100 podcasts? Yeah, and then you started doing it. Like, was there a moment like that? You're like sitting on your couch, like petting your cat or something, or like
gotta
what was
do
it?
something. You know, well, it was right post COVID, and there was still that vibe of like seeing a lot of content that was being generated in people's houses and homes.
Yeah.
And, you know, Bo Burnham had put out the inside. You know.
Yeah,
Inside,
I heard about that.
And a lot of musicians were like doing like Venmo fundraisers. You know, jams.
Yeah.
And so I started doing the show, and it was like a technical disaster from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And then I had a buddy. I think
Obviously.
It was, yeah.
No, I'm saying like obvious. Like anytime if anybody's ever tried to do this, it's like, yeah, it's a technical disaster the whole way through.
Oh yeah. I had a buddy, TJ Mills, a coworker at Moog, who's been on the show, and he kept saying like, just give it 100 episodes, and then by that point, you know, it'll really take off. And I think it's taken off. I mean, the viewership
That's awesome.
is
That's amazing.
enormous. Yeah, got a few cameras, a few mics for it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So do the cameras just auto switch?
Yeah, I had to set that up. I mean, there's a piece of hardware over there, the ATEM switcher that all the cameras plug into, and then it's got an associated software program that you can go in and set up macros that
I don't know what that means.
change them. So yeah, they change automatically.
That's awesome.
I had to figure it out though.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, in order to get it, you have to hook the ATEM switcher directly in, like with a LAN cable into the into your modem. Mine is upstairs, so that involved me drilling a hole, like, you know, in my basement, and running a cable like down. You can see that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cable over
Do you own this house?
Yeah.
So you can just drill holes wherever you want.
Well, I mean, the bank does.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But we're not going to go down that road. Just getting distracted drilling holes in my house.
Okay, so
What's the next question?
yeah, next question. So you started off like a little bit after, like toward the end of more intense COVID times,
Right.
and then and now you're at your 99th episode, and okay, and how long did that take? How long in between each one? Is it every week?
It was every week for like 2 years. So I just had the 2-year anniversary episode in February.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, and like what are like? Do you feel like you still have more people to interview in the scene, or feel like you're just like what? Like, are there like okay? Who was your first person you interviewed?
The first person I interviewed was actually Andy John.
Oh, awesome! Yeah,
who was in the recorder duet that I recorded this morning.
Yeah, I've had him. I played with Andy John for many years. Yeah,
he's a
cool.
great guy.
Yeah, his music's really good too. He has. Did you hear his Clark Nova project? Did you hear any of those CDs?
Yeah, definitely. Sort of fusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his drummer and bass player were my drummer and bass player. Before that drummer passed away, Robin Tollison passed away. 20. Yeah, you got a Clark Nova sticker. Yeah, it's a great band. Yeah, I don't think they're even on Spotify or anything. I think Clark Nova is only it's only like on CD. Is it on Spotify?
I think we might have played some on Spotify when he was on. Yeah, let's look it up.
Let's see if it's on Spotify.
We're looking it up.
Yeah, feel free to look it up with us as we look it up.
Yes.
Clark Nova. Clark Nova is not on Spotify. Unless it's one word. It's one word. Okay, let's see what's up. Clark Nova. K-L-A-R-C. Oh, it is. Here we go. It's only their first album. Oh, no. Both albums. Okay, so
good.
I highly recommend going to listen to Clark Nova on Spotify, and it's K-L-A-R-C-N-O-V-A. And I recommend you listen to this song called Kuiper Belt. That song's the jam.
Kuiper Belt.
All
right. Here, let's play a little bit of it into the microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty dope, right?
It is good.
Yeah.
Nice dry, bony tone.
Yeah.
Simple but distinguished.
Yeah. That's Andy John on guitar. And I think that's an Andy John composition. So yeah, Andy John. So when I was first starting off playing music in town, I worked at this little recording facility called Altamont Recording, which was in the alley. It was in Carolina Lane. You know that place? So you know where the wine bar is? Like five Walnut, and then there's that alley behind it that has like graffiti in it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that alley is
There's
called.
a picture of Buckminster Fuller in one of
Yes, that alley is called Carolina Lane, and so in that alley, there was a studio called Altamont Recording, and it was owned by this dude named Todd Kelly, and Todd Kelly had been on tour with the Flaming Lips as a second guitar player.
Whoa, very cool.
Yeah, and so I think he somehow with all his time with the Flaming Lips or whatever, he had amassed $1 million, and he sunk it into this place that probably lost most of his money, honestly. Just getting like top of the line gear. He basically wanted to recreate. I mean, it was top of the line for what he wanted, but he basically wanted to recreate like Abbey Road. So he got a lot of the same compressors and everything. Basically some looked up what was in Abbey Road, and he got a lot. He got a lot of it. Like, so he had a really awesome vintage, recording facility with a lot of really nice old mics and stuff.
Right downtown.
It was right downtown. Like, yeah, it was really like maybe 10 years early for like. I mean, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to keep. Probably hard to keep any business open at any point, but anyways, so I was an intern there for a while, and so this dude Todd Kelly also owned a guitar shop called Smashing Guitars, and it was also in the alley across from the recording studio, and So this guy, Shane Heather, he was a salesperson in Smashing Guitars, and then I was an intern at Altamont Recording. So, we would kind of just cross paths and, mingle and stuff. And then eventually he started playing bass with me. I had a bunch of songs that I'd recorded on my laptop on like a Mark of the Unicorn interface. And then eventually, and he is the bass player in Clark Nova. So eventually,
okay,
Clark Nova, I don't know, they kind of stopped playing as many gigs. I think it might have been because I was like on the scene and I was taking up more of their time, I guess, or something. There was like a number of groups that each of those guys was in, and it just so happened that all those different situations kind of like went to the wayside. And then I was like, okay, great. It's my turn. Like, it's my time. It's my moment. Right. And for a little bit, yeah, we played like a lot of shows as the secret B-sides and stuff. And I had like a really huge horn section and stuff. And then, I don't know. I think like pretty much like I started having kids. And then that was like the end of my musical run in terms of just like, doing it all the time and like getting... I don't know. For a while, it was like I was getting some pretty good traction, as a secret B-sides, and then I just, you can't split the pie that many directions,
Well,
Yeah.
it's I applaud prioritizing your kids. I mean, that feels
for sure.
like the right thing to do.
Obviously, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. The worst thing to do is like not prioritize your kids and still not make it, right?
Tragedy times 2.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. So, but I've always gotten to still play music, and I'm a musician at heart. Like somebody said, I think it was Jessica Thomason said, being a musician is not a career, it's a lifestyle. It can be a career, but like at the core of it, it's like, it's a lifestyle, at least for a lot of people. Like for me, that rung so true. I was like, yeah, like it's like something that there's almost times where it's like, I wish I didn't have this drive to do this extra, to be juggling this extra, this extra ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just do. Like, I just do. I just want to. Like,
The creation of music and, like, the production of it is very time-consuming, for
Yeah.
sure. But even before that, like, there is that, now I've talked to a zillion musicians on here, and there's that compulsion. Like, I think about it, like, having practiced, like, even like guitar scales so much or whatever, just like my brain needs that, it expects like that repetitive motion. There's like a therapeutic value.
There is a therapeutic value. I think that's why we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a therapeutic value. I remember when when COVID like hit, lockdowns hit and stuff, and it was like, in March? It was like mid-March.
Yeah.
I remember I had my first gig after that point in May, and it was me and Paul Gladstone, and he was playing drums and I was playing guitar, and we got this gig at this place called the Apocalypse Theater in Weaverville, and it was like this DIY, like it was at this place called Valleca Metal Shop, and they just made this like DIY drive-in performance venue where you could tune your radio to the channel of like the PA, and you could have
Whoa,
this, yeah, it was
so
cool.
awesome,
Yeah,
man.
and but it didn't sound that good, but it was still cool. It was like, okay, this is what it's come to, like this Mad Max style performance thing. Like, all right, fine, but it was just like, I remember I hadn't played for people in person for at that point, like 2 months, and I remember it was a terrible gig. Like I didn't feel like I played well. We were really far up on this metal platform, like maybe 20 feet off the ground, and like the people were very far away. Like there was very little connection to the people we were playing for, and it was cold up there. It was high. It was just weird.
Yeah.
But I remember afterwards feeling like, oh, that's what, like a crappy gig felt better than no gig.
Oh,
After
okay.
having no
Yeah.
gigs for 2 months, I was talking to my friend on the telephone afterwards, and I was like, she was like, something's different about you right now. And I was like, because we had been talking the whole like 2 weeks before that. And she's like, something's different about you. And I was like, I think it's because I just played a gig for the first time in 2 months. And it was like a terrible gig, but it still made me feel really good on the base level.
Like, yeah, nourished.
Like on a physiological level, you know, it made me feel good. So I think that there's something very valid about like we're like in the honey pot, you know, like yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly have to summon it. I feel that way a little bit right now, or just like but really, I mean, there's an immediacy to playing music for people where like there's no choice in the you have to sort of tap into this like going for it-ness that you don't necessarily have on the day-to-day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if you don't tap into that, then it causes problems. Sometimes I think you can like get stuck. You can't half step. You kind of got to go for it. Yeah, especially if you're going to jam. That's why I'm scared of jamming and I don't like to jam, but I'm going to do it.
Hey, we're going to jam. I'm looking forward to it. It was sounding great earlier.
Yeah. So it's good this way because this way I'll control everything tonal and you can play the drums.
Yes. Yeah, this is good. And my goal is to keep it simple on the drums. That, you know, somebody, Tony Willingham, who runs like the open mic at One World downtown, said to me that drums are like really an instrument where people like run before they walk. And I think that's super true because I love to just like go nuts for weird time signature stuff, but just keeping that simple beat is like the groove. That's really what I invited you to hear
for the
to
groove.
Talk about.
Yeah, I can
groove,
groove. I can be groovy. Yeah, I can be groovy. Like, yeah, I'm really into like Khruangbin and like, you know, simple. I love drums like that where it's just like so, but somehow it's like it's more than some of its parts the way that guy plays. It's like it's very simple, but somehow it just sounds better than it sounds. I don't know how to say it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Sounds better than it is, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, almost when some drummer, I like always hear that music as wallpaper music.
It is psychedelic wallpaper music,
right?
Psychedelic elevator music.
I'm really into Stereolab. Do you know that band?
Yeah, that's an amazing band.
It's so good, and that drummer as well. Like when he's doing his job right, you don't really like notice it, but it's just driving everything at the same time. That like krautrock, like you know, 4 to the floor kind of groove. It doesn't have to be so crazy. You know, have you listened to that Stereolab? Now that I brought them up, I'm gonna, fanboy.
I need to listen to more of them. But
they did this album called Margarine Eclipse, and there's a lot going on. Like one of their singers had just gotten like hit by a car and died, like riding their bike, I think. And so there's like a lot of unrest in the band, and they didn't know if they were going to continue with that band name. And the band was essentially a couple who had just also broken up. There's like all this,
so everything was on the ropes.
Yeah. And they create this album that's in dual mono, so they recorded each song twice with different arrangements and hard panned.
And you can hard pan different versions, or they can play it at the same time.
And they combine them at the same time. I'm still like listening to it to try to figure out, because you don't want like different bass parts. Like they would really be like, you know, butting heads. So I think there's some stuff that's centered, but like most of the album, there's a whole drum set part, like 2 different drum sets.
Wow.
Or like electronic drums on the right hand side. And
that's ambitious. Like the Flaming Lips did an album where you could listen to it on like 4 different like players at the same time. You push play all at the same time, or listen to them individually. Yeah.
I think part of the idea was that the players were gonna like slowly get out of sync.
I did that one time with 2 CD players playing A Love Supreme, and I was in my room. I was in my room by myself. I was like 19 years old, and I was I was about to go to Warren Wilson College. I'm from Tucson, Arizona, and I came to this area because I went to Warren Wilson College.
Did you graduate?
Yeah, I did.
What did you get?
I'll get there. I'll get to that. Okay. I'll get to that. I did graduate, and honestly, when you graduate from Warren Wilson College, I don't think it even matters what you got. No, I got a
Here,
is that my phone or your phone?
This is me throughout the whole episode.
I got I majored in global studies with a concentration in Latin America and then a minor in Spanish. And that's what I did.
Okay.
Global studies. So, which is just like a bunch of different stuff. It's like anthropology, social sciences, history, a lot of that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, that's social science. I mean, sorry, political science. So social sciences, yeah, political science, history, anthropology mostly. And then that's why I'm so like smart, you know, about like all that stuff.
It's coming across.
Yeah. So yeah, I was in my room. I was like the summer before I was gonna go to Warren Wilson, and I was listening to Love Supreme on two different players, and one was on my left side and one was on my right side, and I pushed play on one and then went across the room and pushed play on the other, and I guess I did it just right. So then I went and like sat in the middle, and it basically just created a delay effect. And I don't know if I actually did it right. If I did it precisely just so it would be heard to where it was like on time, because you know those records, like the time shifts. Like, you know, I mean, like
they're not playing to a click.
They're not playing to a click, and part of the you know, part of the point I think of that music is for it to be fluid and for it to be able to shift in tempo and stuff, I guess, you know. But anyway, so I heard it just as a delay. It'd be like ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba-da, ba-da-ba, and then ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba, but it was all in time, you know, and I was like, whoa, this is awesome, this is amazing. So I just listened to, I think I listened to the whole thing like that, you know, and I was like, wow, that was amazing. Like, so then years later, I was recording some of my own music, and I was telling the engineer about that time that I'd done that, and he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, he's like, let's see if we can do it in the computer. Like, so we imported it into the computer, and it never lined up. Like I could never get those same songs to line up.
Yeah.
And so I think there's two, I don't forget why we even brought this up. Oh, because we're talking about Flaming Lips and all that stuff and weird like recordings. But and wanting the recording to get out of sync with it, you know, with the other versions. I guess the Flaming Lips is probably that in that way. But yeah, we couldn't get it to work by like trying to match up the two tracks basically of the same song and try to match them up, or like we put it, you know, move it around and see if we could find that sweet spot where it would just be a delay of itself that was on time, and it would just always get out of time with each other and just turn into a mess. And so more recently I thought, you know what, maybe there's two different things that might explain that. One is binaural beats. Like in my brain, I might have just been syncing it up. There's nobody else there to tell me otherwise. I might have just been like hearing it in one, because I was like, I did have one on one side and one on the other side, and I was right in the middle. So I might have just been in the right place for like it to reflect off the walls and such, and I just heard it in a certain way. It's possible, right? I could have just been in the right place, right time. Or I could have been adjusting it in my head and hearing what I wanted to hear.
That's a trippy thought. Yeah. I like that story. I used to really overstimulate myself and put on like a TV show and a movie and like some music and play video games.
Yeah.
And just was probably not great. I don't recommend that much screen
Let's
time
do it.
for
That sounds great. Let's do it.
But I would like be looking out for like those synchronizations, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I think maybe, especially for younger people, like if you're 19, I think that neuroplasticity is still there. So I can really buy into that.
Like my brain really could process and adjust and make it to where I was having the experience that I kind of wanted to have.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
I believe that.
I believe it too. Hey, I need you to fill time for 1 minute because I forgot the little plant that goes on this
Okay,
table.
go get it.
It's really important for the 99th episode.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Don't forget your plant friends. So I used to help produce this show called Plants and Their Friends. In Asheville, there was this cable access show, or this cable access channel called URTV. So shout out to URTV. It was basically this place where people could come and make whatever TV show they wanted to, and there were very few rules. People made wild stuff, very wild stuff. It was cable access television, and the show that I helped produce was called Plants and Their Friends. And so and I want to go find it on YouTube and see if there's any episodes on YouTube. But we always gotta shout out to our plant friends.
This one's called Jeffrey.
Jeffrey, what kind of plant is Jeffrey?
A succulent.
A succulent
For
of
sure.
some type. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Jeffrey looks like the horns of like Satan,
But like a bunch of Satans.
but a bunch of horns, and they're green and they're cute.
Definitely, Jeffrey is a cute plant. I didn't transfer the name tag. Just the 2-year anniversary episode was a bunch of high schoolers, and they named him.
Yeah.
Or her. Jeffrey,
What?
the girl.
Or they?
Right.
So wait, what?
Like-
So you had a bunch of high schoolers?
Yeah,
In
like
here?
a high school band. Again, Andy John.
Oh, sweet. What was
Not
the band?
every episode involves Andy John.
Well, this one does, because Andy John is definitely a friend of mine. I have a song with Andy John that we haven't finished yet. It was a love song to the NSA, and it was called Love Int, like LOVEINT, because I heard on NPR there's this category of intelligence gathered by NSA agents called Love Int, which is the intelligence about somebody you have a crush on. And so they would just like, I guess they do this. They just like will use their access to like, you know, recordings and telephone log and everything to like learn stuff. It'll just dip into the honey well of information out there on all of us and just learn stuff about their crush without like the crush even knowing they exist.
That's weird.
It's
yeah.
super weird. So I made this song. It was like a love song to the NSA called Love Int, and it was cool. I need to finish it.
That's good. Was that? Yeah, I haven't heard of the NSA in a long time.
I know. It's like we forgot about them. Hello, what up, NSA? Shout out to you. Oh, I always thought that it would be. I always felt like as a musician, like as musicians, it's like even like this podcast, for instance, even if like nobody else is watching, the NSA is watching. Or
yeah.
one of their robots are watching.
Right.
So sometimes that might be our target audience, is because those are people too. They deserve to be entertained. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's actually an interesting thought, because like all of this AI is now geared on or trained on, you know, just the internet at large, right? Like all of the information that's out there. So when you're contributing something like this and YouTube makes like the
Yeah.
transcript for
Yeah.
it, this knowledge is feeding like
Yeah.
some AI base.
It's like creating a core belief, maybe not a core belief, but it's like
No, it's gonna be a core.
a core belief of like a robot. That's why I always feel like I always felt like it's almost like the same way that you could consider, like in the old days, people thought like, is God real or not? And it's like, well, okay, well, some people, their conclusion was, well, why don't you just act like God is real, and that way, just in case God's real, then you're covered, and if not, then who cares?
Mm.
Well, I mean, there's an opportunity cost there where you could have just been like
a hellion.
doing whatever you wanted instead of worrying about if God was real or not. But I take that same type of logic for like AI takeover, robot master, like, you know, futuristic, like if the robots ever take over, I'm always like, I'm going to err on the side of niceness to robots just in case they do take over, and I can just be like, look, I've got a long track record of being like pretty nice to you guys. I never like get mad and like cuss out like Siri or anything. Like I'm always like, Siri, thank you, Siri.
You thank Siri.
Yeah, I thank Siri. I talk to Siri sometimes somewhat genuinely. I do it in front of my kids. I definitely talk to Siri in a nice way. And then whenever they speak meanly to Siri, I'll be like, Siri, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She meant, no, whatever. Like, just be nice to us when the robot revolution comes.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like when I drop my phone, it's an accident. I'm never throwing my phone
Oh,
on the
yeah.
ground. You know, I'm trying to be kind. Do you have like Google Home or like Alexa or anything?
I
like
don't.
That
I'm like a minimalist in terms of that stuff. Like I usually don't do my updates. I just wait as long as I can to do my updates on
What do you
anything.
mean by
Like my
updates?
phone update.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Like anything
You'll
that's
just see the message pop up.
I'm just
like
like,
over
no,
and
I'm
over.
not updating until I have to. Because one time I updated and it like erased a bunch of my music, and I was like, ugh. 'Cause
That's
I don't
tough.
I don't have time to read the terms and conditions. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't have time to do that. So
Yeah.
if they're gonna screw me over in those terms and conditions, I won't even know. I just have to do it.
What were how did you lose the music? Because I heard that this just happened to a DJ too, and my first thought is like my whole album's on the iCloud, so it feels safe. You know, was yours backed up in that way, or was
I mean, it was just a bunch of music that I had imported to iTunes, and so like everything that wasn't purchased off of iTunes was erased like in 2000. It was a long time ago. It was like 2015 or something. I forget when it was, but it was like I was starting to amass a lot of recordings that iTunes allowed me to import into iTunes, and then I still had access to it on my cell phone and stuff because it was in my library. But at that certain point, they said, all right, we're not going to host any music that's not purchased from iTunes. And, you know, that was around the same time they put the U2 album on everybody's cell phone, on everybody's iPhone without asking. And then U2 was like the first band to like know how many people hated their music, you know, like by how many people used the link to like remove it from the iPhones. So yeah, I'm just a minimalist on like all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I use it. I think there are 4 lights, and so I often wonder, is this worth it for this Google Home? But sometimes I ask it questions.
4 lights? What do you mean?
Like I have 4 lights programmed on my Google Home. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm seeing. I see what you're saying. So it's not like everything, like the dishwasher, the refrigerator, like.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
I'd like it.
Yeah, it could be cool to start the dishwasher. Oh, fill it up. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
A little robot slave that I would be nice to.
A robot slave that I would be nice to. I'm nice to my robot slaves.
For sure.
Just in case I am a robot slave.
Have you ever
eventually
used these? Right.
They're like, this one was nice to me.
Mercy for mercy.
Yeah.
Have you used bone conduction headphones?
No, but I saw a video of it.
Yeah, I like swim at the gym, and so I got like a pair of those that are MP3 players, and it was the first time in forever that I had to download music and figure out how to like actually have music rather than streaming it.
Yeah.
And it was like difficult to figure out.
Yeah. During COVID, I like lockdown time, I definitely started to like amass DVDs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I was just like, what if the internet goes out? Then I don't have anything to watch. So I should have some DVDs on hand.
What are you watching right now? Have you watched Fallout?
No.
That
sounds
great.
Cool. Is it about the video game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that. That sounds really good.
Very cool.
Let's see. I'm not really watching anything. I liked the last thing I watched was Beef. I thought Beef was really good. That was like a year ago or something. And then what else? There's another one that came out, Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
The spy movie?
There's a remake.
Oh,
with Childish Gambino.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Love that guy. Atlanta is so good.
Yeah. That show Atlanta, and my favorite show in the past like 5 years has been Lil Dicky's Dave. Have you ever seen that show?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude, this is the best show. It's a lot of things that you will love it. Dave is like the best show. It's better than Atlanta, I would say.
What?
Yeah, I would say it's better than Atlanta is great, but it's like Dave is like funnier, I think. I mean, they're 2 different lanes, but they kind of are similar because it's like the tale of a up and coming rapper, basically, right? Yeah.
Atlanta is?
Isn't it?
Yeah, right. And
like it's Paperboy and his manager. Yeah, so it's kind of that same kind of premise, but it's just and it's equally deep. It's equally deep. But it's also, I'd say, there's a lot more comic relief, and there's a lot of moments where the main character is just like saying something very cringy and you want him to stop, but you're also thinking, man, I've had that exact same thought, but just please stop. Like, no, don't. And then it usually turns out okay. But it's funny. It's just funny that he even takes it to these places. And then he tastefully brings it home somehow to where you're like, okay, resolution. Yes. Okay. Yes. Resolution, resolve here. Like, I don't know. I like it. It's a great show.
To check that out. That's
yeah.
on
Dave
Hulu?
Is amazing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Dave is
really
amazing.
talking
It's
it up.
the best show.
That's cool.
You got to see it.
No, let's not keep talking about TV.
TV, yeah. What
Well,
about,
there's some great soundtracks out there.
yeah. What about, yeah, is there any good shows about music, other shows about music? I never saw
You know-
the Jimi Hendrix biopic starring Andre 3000, but I feel like I need to
What?
because I like Andre
I'm just
3000
hearing
and
about
Jimi
this.
Hendrix, yeah.
Yeah,
It
that
was
could be
out a
cool.
while ago. It was not very popular. Like, people didn't like it.
Did you watch Mr. Corman?
No.
That was a show on Apple TV with Joseph Gordon-Levitt starring
I don't
that
know
guy.
what it is.
And he's like a music teacher, and it really speaks to just like the soul crushing, like juggling and grind that being
Yeah,
a musician
you're a music
can be.
teacher. I'm a music teacher too. I
Oh,
teach
yeah?
at French Broad River Academy
Oh, okay, cool.
twice
Did
a
I
week.
know that? That's cool.
Yeah, but
Is
I
it
teach
like an
more like a
after-school thing?
band. Well, no, it's like it is the last part. It's like an extracurricular activity, but it's part of school still. It's a big part of the school there. They have like a lot of like a lot of live music played by the kids. Yeah, but I love teaching, and so I teach more of like I'm like more of a band coach than like teaching the kids how to play their instruments. I'm more like
Is it like a rock
supplemental. It's rock. Well, it's whatever genre we want to play. Like we played the national anthem. Like my kids played the national anthem the other day.
band? Okay, cool.
And it wasn't very rocky. It's just like one guy had a recorder and he like brought it out and played it. But it's just like whatever genre. But basically, yeah, I guess like it's just like you just bang it out however you can. It doesn't have to be like perfect.
Yeah,
The whole point is just everybody knows their role and they're just trying the best they can. And then you perform it.
I do know. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you find? What do you get out of talk to me about that a little bit.
About
What do you
teaching?
get out of teaching, and like what do you find to be the challenges that are like worth it? you know?
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
from a personal level.
I wouldn't
Don't be
teach
overly
if I wasn't
positive.
getting paid. So.
Okay, right.
But no, but
There are other ways to get paid.
there are other ways to get paid, and in terms of ways to get paid, I really enjoy teaching. I like working with people who I like thinking about how like these kids that are in middle school. It's like, man, it's like can I imagine having me there to help? I mean, in my heart, I'm still I'm still like their age. Like in terms of my musical journey, I still play music for the same reason as I did when I was 13, which is just like we were talking about before, I guess it just has some kind of like there's some type of physiological reward, I guess, underneath everything. There's some kind of like, there's this release going on of like I'm playing music, I'm connecting with myself or to some other people or whatever. But like I think that part of what I really like is just about how I get to be like somebody's music angel.
Okay,
It's like
yeah.
I struggled a lot when I was first playing guitar. Like I knew I was like I'm gonna be a sucky guitar player for like 2 years. And then I knew it. I was like, I know I'm going to suck for at least like a couple years.
Totally.
Like I'm at the beginning of a really long, boring process of getting to the point where I actually like what I'm doing. But I can tell that I want that enough. That was the bummer part. It was I couldn't just be like, oh, well then screw this. I was like, dang it. I know I'm going to go through that time. I can
Yeah.
just feel it. I'm going to suck for those 2 years and I'm going to go through that and be that. And then finally, maybe I'll get, and then like, that's exactly how it kind of worked was like, eventually I got to the point where I was like, I finally wrote a song I like. I finally wrote something I feel like is mine and not just me trying to like copy other people and feel like kind of empty about the artistic side. It was like, I wasn't playing guitar to be like, oh, I want to shred on the guitar. Like I'm not really a guitar shredder, but like I was more just like, I want to play so I can perform. I want to play guitar until I can write songs and then like have a band and perform. You know?
Right. I do know, although I don't really have that component for myself, like the performer, what would that, I like tinkering. I think I'm more of like a tinkerer and like,
Yeah.
I
That's
would like
more,
to
that
summon
sounds
that.
kind of more fun in a way. Yeah.
I like that you're putting this 2-year demarcation.
I
on it.
remember that. I just remember thinking like, I'm going to suck for a long time. And I was thinking it would be about 2 years. And it was about 2 years. One time I started when I was like 12 and I started to play songs. I started to like actually have like my friends and family like take notice when I was like 14, I started to be like, oh yeah, he's writing some good songs, you know, like whatever.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I had a new student just today, and he was immediately getting very frustrated, you know. And I can say things like, you know, you can measure your progress and the amount of mistakes that you make, you know.
Yeah.
But that leaves it hanging in this, like, it'll always be difficult kind of
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
I like just, like, even if it's kind of vaguely, you know, it's not like you hit the 2-year mark and it's fine, but maybe
No.
telling a kid that is motivational. In
Like,
some way,
you're just
like,
going to suck for 2 years?
Yeah.
Get used
Try
to
that
it.
out.
You're just going to suck for about 2 years. No, I don't know. But I'm a really good guitar teacher now, especially for somebody who's just starting off. And I've had some kids that I teach, and they're just starting off, and I'm just like, oh, I forgot that, like, there's all this information I take for granted. Just like naming all the parts of the guitar. Like, oh my God, I've been like learning all that stuff for like, you know, like 30 years or whatever.
Like the nut.
Yeah, like all the
Like
little
the peg.
parts, all the little tiny, like the parts, and then the little things about tuning that I know. But, you know, like just all the little, it's like every little thing about why a string, you know, when you press it in the middle, that's the octave. And like, you know, like
That fact is great.
like
yeah.
just all that
I love
stuff
that.
of like all these little pieces that I can be like, oh yeah, this and that and that, and like, oh wow, it's like, okay, so I can teach somebody who's just beginning, has never touched a guitar. Dude, I'm a great guitar player. I'm a great teacher for that person. And then also when I have somebody like that, it makes me be like, oh, so I have to go to my knowledge edge and push that forward so that I continue to be ahead of this guy. But fortunately, he's so far behind me. It's like, okay, I got this in the bag.
Yeah.
So that's part of why I like teaching, is that it's just cool to be able, like I said, to be somebody's music angel and be able to be like, you know, I can give them something that challenges them. I can also help give them a foundation that's like, for me, there's so many things to learn from music that it's like Mr. Miyagi type of situation where it's like, you know, it's like, you know, if you're learning like martial arts, it's like, yeah, you can learn all the moves, but it's really cool if you learn through what you're doing how to have patience. If you learn through what you're doing, like for instance with music and playing guitar specifically, like or any instrument, but the way that I've been teaching lately is like, I really remind the kid, like, when you're feeling frustrated, slow down. Like, play it slower. And then when you can do that, slow it down again. Play it even slower.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you can slow it down and perfect it and just play it like that, then when you start to go faster, you'll notice it's smoother, it's more accurate. And if you play fast and you're messing up, you're just practicing those mess ups. And like I see kids just struggling, like they want to play it fast as they can to prove that they can already play it. And it's like, just admit that you can't and play it slower. Like that's such a lesson in life. You know what I mean? It's just like, there's so many times where we put the pressure on ourselves to be something that we're not. And like, we could just like slow it down and be what we are and practice that. And then like, that's a foundation, you know, like so when I have like a 12-year-old kid, like I can try to help them learn patience at the age of 12. Well, that's great. Cause they're like 15 years ahead of most of us. Cause we're still learning patience, you know?
Yeah, you're really speaking to my heart right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
Like, man, I'm learning this lesson over and over.
Yeah, totally.
It's a different kind of patience, though, too. It's funny because you try to communicate patience to a 12-year-old, and the patience that they're experiencing is like having to sit through class or like, you know, being trapped with much less like freedom or agency or like, you know.
That's true.
Some kids come into my lessons and they're like just devastated by ennui, you know, just by having to live.
Yeah.
And just to like hold that space for the student and like make music like a safe retreat, I think
That's cool.
is really can feel really good.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes they're just really mean the whole time and it doesn't feel good.
A kid is mean to you. Oh
Yeah.
man. Yeah. I've probably experienced that a little bit. But not, I don't know. What do you mean? Like, I guess.
Not mean. I
Yeah.
was
You're like, I don't want
for
to.
sure.
Yeah.
Just sort of like, you know, it's hard to be on all the time. And so I think along the lines of what you were saying, like if a kid's not into practicing the stuff we've been working on, like scales or whatever, it's okay. Like you don't have to do that right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess in life there are things that you have to do.
There are things you have to do, but like there's a lot of things. I was talking about this with my daughter's, with my co-parent, basically with my daughter's mom, and like my daughter's a musician and she's a singer and she really loves music, and she's such a ham. She loves just like performing, and she has all these
performer gene.
Yeah, for sure. Or from somewhere, maybe the same place that I got it, but she got a bigger dose. But she's always slow to do things at school. Like she's always the last in the car to go to school. Like there's always like these things, like she doesn't like that. It seems like she doesn't like that life is all about all these things we just have to do. There's all these things we have to do, those places we have to go. And that's like, and a big part of our parenting is like, well, that's the world we live in. But there's every once in a while, it's like, you know what? But that sucks. And like, you're right.
Yeah, definitely.
And then like what we've been kind of trying lately to just be like, where are the opportunities where we can give her that time to be like, you know what? We're not in a hurry right now. You can take your time. You can like, it's all good. Like that I think as a society, like we all need to like do that somehow, give ourselves more of that. I mean, I don't know what your life is like, but mine is like,
let's gripe.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Crazy, man. I'm up to here. I woke up at 3:30 this morning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Just have you ever just woken up way too early, just stressed?
Yeah.
Like now I'm awake.
Anxiety.
Yeah. Now I've got stuff to do.
Yeah.
Might as well do some of the stuff that I'm stressed about.
Right now. Yeah, that's one of the things that helps is just getting up and I've done that. Like 3 a.m. like I have to clean my room right now because if I don't, like I'm gonna go crazy. I got too much stuff going on. I remember one time I organized a block party. And I remember the morning I woke up for the block party, I just woke up and I was just like, am I allowed to cuss on your podcast?
Yes.
Okay, I woke up and I was just like, fuck.
Yeah,
like
man.
the amount of things I have to do today to make this block party happen. And like, I'm not even going to enjoy it. I mean, I did end up enjoying it, but it was like, I just woke up just like, oh man, I don't want to do this today.
Well, that's funny too, yeah, because I think there's a bandwidth, and then even very enjoyable things become obligations. This show sometimes feels like that. I'm like, oh, I've got another episode of this. But then every time, without fail, like reliably, I'm like really enjoying myself.
Yeah,
doing
like by the end, you're like, so that's the thing, is it's tension and release. Tension and release. That's like all of music.
Another
or
music
a
lesson.
lot of music.
Right.
Not
yeah.
all music.
Some of it's just tension.
Some of it's just release. What is that guy's name? Philip Glass.
Oh, yeah. He's got an opera. Have you listened to that?
No.
It is hard to listen
Yeah?
to. Yeah.
I listened to Music for Airports or something. I remember I had that. I think that was Philip Glass. Let me see. Am I thinking the right person?
Looking it up.
Got to look it up.
I'm really down in some water. I think we might be getting close to the hour. Here, I'm going to check it.
I think we should use up some of our... Okay, Philip Glass.
Where are we at? We're at like, 50 minutes.
50?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's nobody
for
holding me
airports.
accountable here.
No, but you know what? It's amazing that you've done this. Like...
Have you heard Bang on a Can All-Stars?
No.
Like Don Byron, the clarinet player?
No.
Some pretty like bonkers like reggae jazz.
Ooh, sounds cool. I really need to listen to more music. And I was thinking Brian Eno, music for Ambient One, music for airports. Yeah, I need to listen to this. I probably should just like take a day off of work and listen to this album.
Dude, I've got a day off tomorrow, and I have a massage in the morning.
Oh,
Talk about stress relief.
man.
And I'm gonna go find. I've been thinking about it all day. I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna get a massage and then go find a waterfall.
Oh, damn.
And like a really secluded one.
Oh,
and
man.
just like read a book or like journal or something, which is escapist.
That's
like a little
great,
bit.
dude.
Just
No,
like, I'm
that's
gonna run away
fine.
from
Escape.
everything.
Dude, get away.
Yeah.
Escape. Yeah, for sure. I
A
mean,
waterfall for so long that like for like hours. So then when I leave, everything will seem really quiet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you hang at a waterfall, there's like that constant sound.
So
tension.
when you do that, like, how do you know when you go over there to this waterfall, whatever, you get your massage, you go to your waterfall, you do your thing, like, how do you know that you're coming back to the same world that you left? Like, what if you go and you do that and like in our dimension you just like disappear like Thanos snap, but in your world you're just going back to like, you're going to like some other, like the same thing but like just like higher vibes, like you're entering some other. I think about that all the time, dude. Like how would you know?
You don't. Yeah.
You don't know. Like
Yeah.
one time I set my alarm. I forgot. I set my alarm for 10 o'clock because I wanted to wake up. I wanted to sleep in. But I ended up waking up early and doing stuff. And I was like very much in my mind. And I was just like having a bad day. I was just thinking I was in a rut. And I remember that when the alarm went off, it was like I woke up again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was literally, it was like, and I was like, and I just woke, I came awake. I was like, I just rose out of my, like my thoughts. I just like instantly like blinked out of my thoughts. And I was like, oh yeah, that wasn't even like, I'm like in another dimension right now. Cause the thing just, I don't know what it was about it. It just snapped me out of my thoughts in a way. I was like, what if this is like a whole other trajectory now?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
It was amazing, man. It was amazing.
That's good. Those thoughts, won't help. I mean, it's a constant battle with like positive thinking.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
positive thinking can get real cheesy and real corny. Like if you're like, I am positively thinking, what's the positive thought? You know, like that could be like, okay, like, but is that realistic? Like, is this toxic positivity?
Avoidant.
You know,
Yeah.
am I just like, spiritual bypassing like some stuff that maybe I just need to grind through and just like get the lesson out of the grind? I don't know.
It feels really good to hit that. I hit that moment recently, or a couple of times, where it's like, man, I'm experiencing emotions. I'm just gonna sit on the couch and like stare off into the distance.
Yeah.
And be like, just take a moment.
Yeah.
To like sit in that.
Yeah.
That's
I think it's
really,
really good. And I think
really
it's something that like when I think of my dad, I don't think my dad, I feel like there's just like previous generations that might have been a harder thing to do. It's like they've had to like drink alcohol or like smoke a cigarette or like, smoke a joint or something like to get there. And like we do too, but like I think there's this drive to be doing something, this like guilt almost of like, you got to be constantly grinding. You got to be constantly working, or otherwise what's the point? Like I think that drives people to alcoholism and stuff. It drives people to like, because I mean, I feel like sometimes when I see people smoke a cigarette, it's like it looks like the time to smoke a cigarette is just their built-in time to chill.
Yeah, for
You know?
sure.
Yeah, it's like a ceremony of like, I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna smoke this cigarette, let the world pass me by. But like you can do that without any of that. Like you were saying, you can just sit down on the couch and be like, spacing out. I hate it when people are like, why are you zoning out? It's like don't interrupt somebody zoning out. Like they're zoning out, dude. Like let them zone.
Yeah, right. It's so
like
hard.
you tell a kid like,
so hard to zone out.
like we get called out for like zoning out. Like it's a bad thing, And I feel like zoning out is like really important.
Yeah. Do you have any go-tos? Like I've listed a couple. The waterfall. I see you
For
in the sauna.
zoning out, sauna.
In the sauna a couple times.
Sauna makes me zone out.
That changes my thoughts. Going to the gym
Yes.
and like when I pop out of the gym, I'm like a totally different person.
Yes.
I'm stoked.
Yeah.
It's easy to ruin it pretty easily. Like
Yeah.
if I start scrolling Facebook or something,
Yeah.
I can drag myself back down. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But zoning out, I don't know, maybe even sometimes when I'm scrolling and zoning out, it's like there's been times where I've just allowed, I feel guilty about it, but then there's times where I'm like, you know what? Just do it. Just scroll, baby. Just like go for it. Get your fill.
Just dopamine explosions.
Just go for it. But and then I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the thing is, I'm getting better at putting it down and doing a true zone out. I think I don't know. I have a sleep mask that I use sometimes, and I will put on my sleep mask and not even fall asleep. Just put on my sleep mask and just like I have a sleep mask I can open my eyes inside of, and it's still like dark. So like that just helps me just totally relax.
Do you ever like put it in the fridge or the freezer?
That's a good idea. No. Yeah, that sounds great. I've worn the sleep mask in the sauna though.
Oh
yeah, it's really nice.
I saw somebody wear one at Ecstatic Dance recently. That's
a sleep
another
mask
thing that I'm enjoying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful time. Do you ever go to contra dance?
No, but
dude, you should go.
I should.
I mean, a single guy. Yeah, contra dance is like probably the way that people used to meet.
It seems like
because you dance with like
timeless.
You dance with like 50 people in one night.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a system where like you just go down the line, and then you eventually have danced with every single person, and it's kind of cool.
And hopefully you feel a spark, or you just got to dance
with 50 people, and it feels good to just be with other human beings, and like in the zone. Yeah. But I remember one time I went to one of those things, and I was like a little bit inebriated, and like I was messing up the pattern.
Oh no.
And I messed up the line, and they were like, really, some of those old timers were just like, you're messing up the line. It's like ants in a line. They're like, oh, there's like I'm breaking the line, Like, I was like, oh, I messed up the nature's pattern. Like,
yeah. I do want to try that. There's a recurring one at Warren Wilson, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a great one.
Your old alma mater.
Yes, that's a great one. Yeah.
What day is that at?
I don't know. We should go sometime. You let me know.
I'd like that.
I'll go.
Let's do it.
I'll go.
All right, cool. There's line dancing on Thursday nights at Banks Avenue. I've never done that, but that's like the country version, right?
Yeah. I think contra dancing is like different somehow. I'm not really sure. I think contra dancing is more partner dancing. I don't know what the difference is. It does feel folkier somehow. It feels line dancing is a little more of like a pop creation, and I mean like that. I don't know, whatever. Like
popular, like
a
folky.
little more like pop. Yeah, I don't know. It's not pop, but just like it's a little more of a mainstream type of phenomenon. But contra dancing, I think, is more like Appalachian, I believe. Yeah, I believe that's true. And it's I don't know. Somehow somebody will have to tell us what the difference is, but
But dance is putting me back in touch with music in a fun way.
That's cool
as well. Yeah, because I'm not like a professional dance teacher or whatever. And like,
do you count when you dance?
Do I count when I dance? That's interesting. I don't know. I don't think so.
Because a lot of times when I'm teaching, I always find a way to count. I just always count by eights. But that's what they do with dance. That's how people usually count dances, by 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, I always do eights. I'm like always counting in eights, which is interesting. So.
Yeah, I've never had any like dance training. Is that where that's coming from for you?
I've never had any training either. I just always hear that. I just always hear that that's how people count dance steps, is like to 8.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. My dancing right now is
hippie dancing.
Hippie dancing.
Yeah. Nice. That's great. It's probably really good for your body to just move however you feel, and your brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's transformative because I get decision paralysis sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes in creativity or like trying to, zone in on like a particular sound.
Yeah.
Or like there's just too many options.
Yeah.
Just in life in general, I'll just freeze or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I go dance, and like the options are I could like move my foot slightly this way, and then I make that decision, and then I could move my foot slightly that way, and then I make that decision.
And then the moment's gone. It's past.
Yes.
And it's over.
And there are no negative consequences.
Well, if you knew you were being videotaped, it might be different.
Yeah. Perhaps. Yeah. I guess that's part of the safe container.
Yeah,
it's there's no talking.
Yeah, like I am AVL and I love all those people, but like there's times where I'm just kind of like, dang it. I wish this wasn't being recorded, because sometimes the way the music feels in the moment is way better than it actually was.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Like for everybody there, everybody's like, "Whoa, this is the best show ever!" And then you go back and watch the tape. I have done this at least, like, and I'm just like, there's a lot of flat notes. Like, I'm not gonna watch that, you know.
But it's just like a vehicle for the moment.
Yeah.
I had somebody talking to me about music. She came over here, a friend of the show, Deanna, to check out Udio, which is like an AI music generator.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's great. It's like a website that you can go to and type in like trap music about apple pie and your mom, and it'll generate like vocals and lyrics and like a whole band's sound that's like totally fake.
Wow.
And it does it, you know,
Yeah.
like in the snap of a finger.
Do you think that record labels are making demos with AI right now?
I don't know. You got to imagine that like somebody's way ahead of the curve, right? And they'd be like holding on to that very sophisticated version, and they could do it. I don't know if it's there yet, but maybe in like 2 years, it's like that sucking your guitar.
I mean, even if it's just like you use AI to like make a chorus, let's just make one chorus that's like this, that's like good, you know. It's like, okay, great, done. All right, now let's use AI to make the verse section.
I was trying to
break it down.
I was trying to use it to generate samples. Like, can I get hi-hats with a little bit of reverb and like, you know, trap hats with like a really syncopated rhythm, but it
like
wouldn't generate it. It kept generating like full band.
Oh,
or, like,
interesting.
noise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. But
It'll
still
get
kind of
there.
fun.
Why did I bring this up?
Oh yeah, you were going somewhere.
What were we talking about before that?
What was it? But the program was called Udio. Yeah, movement. We're talking about recording and things not being recorded or feeling like
vehicles. And Deanna was just mentioning like, for her, like the music vehicle, like musical projects are almost all about like what. These are not her words, actually. I'm butchering it. But one major
paraphrase.
Factor, yeah, what for her was like just what crowd the music brings. You know, like music as like this social vehicle, and it is interesting that it can just be that like envelope, or that, you know, I don't know,
for the crowd that it brings.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That wasn't as profound as I was trying to
No, I'll admit it. I don't know. Wait, let's make it profound now. But the AI stuff, like, it's I remember there was a time where I was like, AI will never be able to make music that has a vibe to it. Like, never. And like it kind of does. It kind of started to. Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff, I was trying to get some metal stuff out of it, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
Because metal already had that djent flavor, you know, that feels robotic almost.
Yeah, it can sound like kind of mechanical and metal, like it's metal.
Right, yeah, exactly. So I've heard it's successful on that front, and then just AI voices like kind of blow my mind still. I mean, they do sound somewhat fake. There's like that rub. That like friction, but yeah, it's way past what I ever thought it could be.
So do you think that, like, I don't know, where do you think it's going? Like, what do you think that we're gonna be like? My thing is just like, so I used to have I have some like my uncles and my family, like I have some people who are like I've always looked up to when I was little. They were like the adults, and like in my dad's friend circle and stuff, and my dad and all these people that are like, they'll be like, you know, when I show them my new music, they'll be like, oh cool, did you play all the instruments? And I'm like, no, you know. They're like
right.
They're like, oh. I'm like, well, first of all, do you enjoy it?
Right. Yeah.
Or do you not even know if you enjoy it until you know like certain facts about it? It's like, cause you know what I mean? It's like, do you it's like he had to know. Like if I'm talking about one person in particular, he just always asks me that. He's like has to know how it was made before he can like allow himself to enjoy it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I didn't play it. And they're like, well, it's like I'm like, I don't know. Some people on the internet created it. Like I don't know. They just put it up there for free, and we sampled it.
Yeah.
But it's like, is AI like kind of like that? Is it kind of
we're all being sampled?
Yeah, I mean, it's
now.
just kind of like, is it just another, like, you know, or like some people will say they don't like auto-tune, which is fine. I think auto-tune abuse is like definitely overplayed, but I've heard it also used tastefully. And it's like, you know, do you only like acoustic guitars? Like, is it okay to use like effects on a guitar? Because that's pretty much the same thing that you're doing if you put effects on your vocals or like use auto-tune in a creative, you know, abusive way or whatever.
Do you know how that chorus pedals algorithm really works? Like,
yeah.
How's that sound being manipulated?
Yeah, and like, or another question is like, is collage art legitimate art? I think so. I've seen like some amazing collage art.
I guess what's art all about, right? Like, because there's also even the distinction between like, or the breakdown of like art as self-expression, right? Which I tend to like still grasp onto that idea and think about intentionality with art, like, and then that sort of implies this this knowledge base or this like process of making art, where like the more you know about it or the more that creative control that you have around it, the more art it is, if art is about self-expression,
right? And if it's
not
about,
necessarily.
I know exactly, like some bands like reminds me of that the most are like the Grateful Dead, because there seems to be a certain aspect of like, we don't know what's gonna happen, or like half the time, like, you know, the Grateful Dead is like really good sometimes and like really bad sometimes. And it's like, the point is, at least one of the things I pull from it is it's like the openness, the willingness to be like, sometimes to go like, to make it even better, it has to be a little broken. Or, you know, it's like, I think of it, the metaphor of like an egg, like you got to break the egg to like get out and fly. And if you try to keep your eggs all perfect, then you're never going to fly.
Sure.
That's kind of weird,
that's
yeah.
very profound.
I know. but you know what I mean, like there's a certain aspect of like if you're in total control, then all you can do is go where you were intending to go, and that's cool. But wouldn't it be even better to go somewhere you never imagined?
There's both, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to know the rules to break them, you know, but like exploring the unknown can be cool too. There's a lot of like randomness in art, or like, I think, and it's unavoidable. I think philosophically that's what people like John Cage were like trying to point at, right? Like that, like, what's the difference between music or just birds outside? Kind of, you know, parallels this idea of like, you might as well have found like any sample. Like, it's sort of random that you would even stumble onto that sample on the internet, because there's just like millions and millions of things. Exactly. Or like, it's somewhat random that like I play a guitar. I didn't design the guitar. Yeah.
All the things came together like in this, everything like happened in history to like create everything that's like in this room right now. And like, maybe it could have happened other ways, but it happened this way. And so that's what we're dealing with. And it's like, I think that there's a certain desire to like, part of the reason why we make music is to like break into the unknown. But it's like, you want to have like a ship, like you want like this balance between structure and like chaos, and like you want to have like some fundamentals in place, but then you want to go somewhere exciting, you know?
Yeah.
You can't just be like, we're going to, you know, we're going to we're gonna drive to Knoxville, and then we get to Knoxville and it's like, great, here we are. But it'd be so cool if like along the way we could like go find some like roadside attraction that we never knew, you know,
like a waterfall.
Exactly. I feel like there's no better way for us to end this.
It is time to end it. We got a jam, man. So we're gonna take a little bit of a break, and then we'll be right back to jam and explore the unknown.
We're gonna
together.
make some waterfall music.
Structure and chaos collide.
Oh yeah, we talked it up. Now we gotta deliver.
Hey, thanks for joining me though.
Yeah.
Juan Holladay.
Yes.
Just to recap, didn't you say you have a show on June 2nd?
I have a show June 2nd at the Cootie Lounge, which is also known as Haiku I Do, on Sweeten Creek, and it's a beautiful wedding venue that is typically a wedding venue, but they started doing events there, and it's just a beautiful place. I can't wait to be there, and I'm just gonna invite a bunch of my best friends and family and whoever else comes. Like, please, yeah, I want to create just a beautiful environment. I'm working on some music and visuals, and trying to kind of like spice it up just a little bit. We might have like some fun. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what. Maybe like somebody making giant human bubbles or something. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Okay.
Something like there's got to be something fun and a little bit
There's some time
mind
to figure
expansive.
it out. Yeah. Silly string.
Silly string.
No, better than that.
Okay,
Just
better than
brainstorm.
that. But there might be silly string.
Yeah.
There might be. Sam might have some silly string in his
Like,
back
oh,
pocket,
some silly
sneaking
string.
around and like spraying people with it. Don't get it in their drinks.
It's still fun, right? Silly string. I haven't seen it in a while.
I don't know.
June 2nd.
Yeah, June
Haiku
2nd
I Do,
at
or the
Haiku
Cootie
I Do,
Lounge.
aka the Cootie Lounge.
What a name. That is
know.
really a beautiful place.
Oh yeah,
That's
it's
great.
beautiful.
I'll
I
be there on
definitely,
Sunday.
I want to like camp out there.
Yeah.
Wish I could just like
They could do
bring
an
everything I
overnight
need
thing.
into there and just like camp out.
That would
So
be
maybe
nice
I'll do that sometime
for a
too.
weekend. Yeah.
Dude, I was thinking of making this.
Just don't call it a wedding.
I know, or Eli and Boat Command guys.
Oh,
and
yeah.
me, we were all talking, and we were like, we should do a festival of like all these chill, under like appreciated bands in Asheville and call it Snooze Fest.
I like that.
I think we're gonna
An
do it.
overnight thing.
Yeah, like Snooze Fest, and there'll be a lot of pajamas and like, yeah, I think it'll be great.
Let me know.
I
if
think we're gonna
can
do
help
it.
With
I
that.
think you can
wanna get
help.
on
I think we're
board.
probably gonna try to do it at Cootie Lounge. So
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep me posted about that one.
okay.
And we got a contra dance. We're making
Yeah,
plans
let's
tonight.
make plans, dude.
All
We're gonna
right.
do. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I have no button to fade out
All
over
right.
here, so we're just gonna awkwardly shuffle off. But this is Asheville 8. No, we'll be right back.
about you from the moment that I wake up. I love you and I want to say I miss you and I want to see you without makeup. I miss you and I want to. I miss you and I want to see you without makeup. After the storm has passed away, and we come out from our hiding places, I wanna see the sun on your face. I wanna kiss you in a million places. Starts here, outside waiting in the cold. Kiss me once in the snow, I swear it never gets old. And I promise you, I'll make it warmer next year. You know I came here I free all my sons. Oh, black diamonds and pearls. Ooh, if I rule the world. Thank you. Let's see. Dude, I don't know if I can do this for an hour, though.
That's okay. How long have we made it?
I don't know. It's been, it's 12, almost 12:30.
Almost 30 minutes.
But we gotta do it, dude. We gotta,
It's
okay.
the last one.
How far do we gotta go? We got 20 more minutes.
At least 45. Yeah. Let me do another weird poly really quick.
All right. Go ahead. Start it off.
No, you start something off and then I'll do something.
No, you start something weird. I'll follow it.
Okay, all right. How about Thanks for indulging me.
Okay, 20 more minutes.
You really counted them down.
20 more minutes.
You're really the star. I'll go back to supporting you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Oh. Okay.
Do you play drums?
Yeah, a little bit. Want me to play?
We could trade.
All right, let's trade. I don't play. I play them a little bit. I play them a little bit. I'm down. I just don't play as many drums as you.
As many.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't like really play the full kit.
There's plenty of interesting stuff to do with just the hi-hat. now.
This mic, and then I might hit this mic.
Don't hit those mics.
I know. Just gonna mess that down for a while.
I like that you asked for the reverb, you know, I would never think to use it. It's not like my go-to thing, yeah. Uh-huh. From a flange guy. This is good.
I think we need to do this for like 4 hours and then finish recording.
And then get warmed up. All right, let's switch back. Real quick.
All right. We're almost there.
We're really almost there.
Episode 99. Oh my god.
The energy is so high.
Energy is off the chain. Yeah, that was some cool stuff.
We're touching on some stuff.
I know.
We'll go back and mine it.
Yeah.
That collab album.
Mine it for that hit, that one hit wonder.
on for a little while. Okay, we technically made it to 10:53. We've played for an hour.
Okay, great. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah. I like that. I like that. That's cool.
Very cool, man.
Thanks so much, man. I had a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had fun too. So, what is the thing? What is the party?
Yeah.
It's on Saturday.
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't talk about that. I'm doing that thing.
Yeah.
But what time does it end? Oh, you're doing it in the daytime.